Secrets hidden in plain sight. Powers that move the world in the shadows. Questions no one dares to answer. Step beyond the matrix. Subscribe.
Can you imagine going to a beach, snorkeling, and finding something over 1 million years old? And why do I say that? Because a teen that was snorkeling in the Florida Keys made the discovery of a lifetime. He found a 6-inch megalodon shark tooth that is millions of years old. Take a look at this. Look at this. How incredibly awesome is that find? Look at the size of it too. Just unbelievable. And keep this in the back of your mind. The megalodon was the largest shark to ever live. An extinct apex predator that dominated the oceans from about 23 to 36 million years ago. These sharks were ginormous. Look at the size of that. That is definitely something you would not want to run into while you were snorkeling. But this lucky individual right here made the discovery of a lifetime. Just incredible. Take one more look at that. Unbelievable. Snorkeling in the Florida Keys. And this kid came up with a 6-inch megalodon tooth. But overall, an incredibly cool discovery, an incredibly cool story. Let me know your thoughts on this in the comments. And as always, I'd love to hear from you.
Okay, so breaking news. The blackouts have started. And this isn't just some random place. This time it's California. Tens of thousands of homes just gone. The power completely gone. And the craziest part is, they're saying that the cause is unknown. I mean, come on, when do we ever see mass outages like this? Like, with absolutely no clear explanation. It makes no sense. Over 100,000 people have been affected in California. Businesses are shut down, entire areas are in complete darkness, and we're all told that they don't know why. I mean, it's scary to think, isn't it? Because right now, across the entire world, we're seeing a serious push towards the digital systems and the smart grids and the AI-controlled infrastructures, a full dependency on electricity for everything. And if the power goes out, no internet, no communication, no control. So, you know, when something like this seems to start happening more and more, you need to start asking some serious questions like, is this just a random failure? Or are we slowly being shown what happens when they fully switch off the switches? Because, you know, when you think about it, California is not just some random place. It's one of the most advanced, most technology-dependent regions in the entire world. If you wanted to really test how people react, how systems could respond, and how fast things can, you know, break down, where would be better to do it than California? You know? Because when you think about it, like, this could be something simple. It could just be a grid overload or a technical fault or some infrastructure issues. But at the same time, we have seen too many coincidences lately to just ignore this. I'm telling you now, beautiful people, when the lights go out for tens of thousands of people just like that, and nobody can even tell you why, we should definitely be paying attention. But yeah, you know, I'm sure it's just another random outage. Nothing to see here. Move along, you crazy conspiracy theorist. This was all just for entertainment, beautiful people. And I'm as fictional as a dinosaur, baby.
To understand the spiritual war we're going through right now, we should talk about Satan, Moloch, and Baal, with an honorable mention for Lucifer. Start with Satan. In Hebrew, he's known as the adversary. He's not a commander of evil fighting God. He's more like a heavenly prosecuting attorney. His job is to tempt, test, and build a legal case against humanity, against you. The ultimate rules lawyer. If they're not worshiping a cartoon devil, then who are the elite sacrificing to? Let's look back to Moloch and Baal. They're in high places. What are they sacrificing? The innocents. So Baal is basically like a landlord of the material world. Moloch's like an accountant for blood debt, a false king who consumes his people instead of serving. None of them are gods. Those two are like spiritual parasites. I've told you that's what demons are. Nothing compares to God. Sacrificing chickens to Moloch, which was in the WikiLeaks, the bombing schools and girls and kids, it's all part of sacrifice, blood sacrifice. And they put it in your face. Why? Because these entities operate on legalism. They feel if they show you their signs, owls, the bulls, the pyramid, you don't object, you have legally consented to their rule, like I told you. Harvesting your energy, your loosh, your fear, your shock. It has emotional electrical output because we are energetic beings, we're spirits. They're harvesting it to power a system that treats us like cattle. Unfortunately, it's not even just a metaphor like I used to once hope it was. Turn God's beautiful green earth into a slaughterhouse. Freaking demonic. But here's the secret that they're terrified of you finding out. Trap only works in the dark, and we are the light. Ikari. Moment you become aware the legal contract is void, God is not a distant judge. He is the source that shatters these demonic frequencies. And when we look within and find God, we can break our spells on us. When you align with truth, you withdraw your consent. And that's when you can stop being a battery for the Matrix, yo. No amount of wars will fix this. The chains are not broken by force. They're broken by light and love. The devil has no case against a soul that is awake, is enlightened, forgiven, and refusing to play this game. Stop looking at the theater, start looking at the source. Oh yeah, and Lucifer, he's a fake being. He's not even real. When people tell you that the Illuminati or Freemasons or whatever worship Lucifer, it's not true. And if it is true, they're worshiping a fake being. Because Lucifer is actually a mistranslation, not even a being in the Bible. The church got you all messed up. They're part of the program. God is very real. My name is Static G. If you like what I do, please share these videos and let the world know, because it's the Great Awakening, baby. Depends on you.
Something's going on in the world, and everybody's brainwashed. They got us going to stores for food where the prices are extremely high for natural foods, and Earth gives it to us for free. Not only that, but it's all genetically modified, GMO foods. They make you pay more for the organic stuff. This really should be how we get our fruits and vegetables and all of our food naturally, free for everybody, and it's organic. Nothing is being sprayed on it. Like, they send kids to public school where it's basically a prison. It stops their creativity, and they fucking hate it. Every kid hates school. This is really what kids should be doing: playing in the sun, playing at the beaches, being outside, letting the sun hit them, not enclosed in a little room, in a little building. Like, it's just pure corruption. Then most people are just chasing money their whole life. Bills, 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 and more bills. Every adult needs to be free. We all need to embrace our creativity and just really experience what freedom is, because we genuinely don't know what real freedom is. You're not going crazy. There's a few people who are trying to wake the rest up, but you're not going crazy if you see what's going on right now. You see, the Matrix is designed to make you feel like you're crazy for seeing the truth. These people who are brainwashed, always on their phones, not saying anything, not questioning anything, they're the crazy ones. And more people are realizing what's going on.
Hey, yo, did y'all see this? States that there was an alien meeting with extraterrestrials at the United Nations. And this is something that the Simpsons predicted first. They predicted first contact with aliens at the United Nations. And now it's happening, Cosmic Family. The reason this is taking place is because everything is about to change. Mark my words. Those that are asleep and still have the wool over their eyes are going to be in third density, and everything is going to shift rapidly over to fifth density right before our eyes. The shift is actually occurring right now as we speak. A few months ago, I told y'all that Donald Trump had a secret meeting with extraterrestrials. Some people would say it's AI, those that refuse to believe in the outer worldly, but now there's leaked images of it, all right, that appears to show Donald Trump meeting with extraterrestrial visitors inside a secret military base. This is because we're at the precipice of the collapse of this government and the financial system, all right? The financial system is about to crumble, and the SARA is about to jumpstart. The SARA and GASARA, which is the National Economic Security Reformation Act, which means that the dollar, the financial system, won't mean nothing. The whole money system was only meant to control us, Cosmic Family, and to keep us in a root chakra, and that energy of fight or flight. The U.S. Treasury just recently declared insolvency of $47.8 trillion in liabilities, which means that America is completely broke. All right. So this is just the jumpstart of it. All right. Gold and silver is the only financial currency that actually mean anything. It's intrinsic. All right. The dollar is no longer backed by anything of intrinsic value. All right. They're just printing money at this point, and it is not attached to anything of intrinsic value or worth, which means it doesn't mean anything. It's all an illusion. It's important to know that your Ashe is the most important form of currency. This is why right now we need to be going inward, and we need to be completely cleansing and purging ourselves to ensure that we have that direct cosmic primordial connection, because they've been distorting us and they've been poisoning us in order to sever that connection with our higher self. This is why they actually spray so many chemtrails. This is why they pump out bioengineered genetically modified organisms that actually implement manufactured parasitic organisms to keep you entrenched in a root or sacral chakra. This is why the entertainment is so low frequency. The music is so low frequency. It's all for the purpose of keeping us from connecting. This whole time, the government has been ran by malevolent extraterrestrial biological entities. Reptilians that can appear human. They have the ability of actually picking out what skin suit they want and appearing to look human. And a lot of the individuals that you thought were political parties, all right, such as Biden and so I'll say allegedly, your Hillary Clintons were unalived in 2019 in Guantanamo Bay for crimes against humanity, all right? So what we've been witnessing is clones, all right? The Attack of the Clones, Star Wars, is all based on fact. This whole time we've been caught in the middle of an extraterrestrial war, all right, between malevolent and benevolent beings, what we refer to basically as angels or demons. We're in the middle of that. But now we're about to witness all of this coming into fruition. And it's all happening, but some of you are just too blind to see what's really going on, all right? I see what's going on. I see the ships in the sky at night. I see the stars that appear to be stars, but actually move here and there. All right, we're seeing it. Those that have a decalcified pineal gland are fully awakened and seeing what's going on. What if I told you the being that most religions believe is God is actually the devil? A malevolent extraterrestrial biological entity that pretty much subjugated this realm for loosh, all right? And he sits at the top. And all of the lower factions, all right, your politicians, your world leaders are just simply puppets on strings, all right, that we are looking at as world leaders, but it's a lot deeper when you actually get to the gist of it, all right? But all of that's about to be unraveled. All of that's being unraveled right before our eyes. The meek shall inherit the earth. And those are the ones that operate from the heart chakra resonance and move out of the love frequency, all right? Those are those ones. When we talk about, I told you, Jesus means hell Zeus. And the J didn't exist to the year 1524. It was created by Giantricinio, all right? So all your characters like John, Jacob, Jehovah, all of those names didn't really exist, all right? This is all fallacy. And the Council of Nicaea changed a lot of the religious rhetoric. So it's important to realize that the God or goddess that you've been looking for this whole time has been you, has been inward. It's important that we meditate and silence the mind. I recommend decalcifying the pineal gland with herbs like Haritaki. Haritaki contains tubulagic and gallic acids that are phenolic compounds that are phenomenal for removing the calcium deposits off the pineal to expose the magnetites, dendrites, and calcites, which are the piezoelectric microcrystals that are actually cosmic antennas, all right? It's important that we begin decalcifying and activating the pineal gland. I recommend utilization of PQQ, also known as pyroquinoline, for mitochondrial biogenesis and cellular regeneration. This combats the graphene oxide, especially if you took the jab. If you're one of those people that were coerced into taking that jab, you need to get yourself a bottle of PQQ. I do have this available on Holistic Remedies, link in bio. It's important that we're detoxing and purging our body of all parasites. Parasites keep you stuck in a root chakra and keep Kundalini energy from rising up the base of the spine. I told you that black walnut, sweet wormwood, and the whole cloves are the best ingredients for not only killing parasites, but also eradicating their eggs. These ingredients release a chemical constituent called eugenol that dissolves the nucleic shell of the parasite and also eliminates the eggs. All right, I do have the liquid tincture composed of 10 all-natural ingredients available on Holistic Remedies, link in bio. I recommend utilization of copper bracelets. Copper protects you from deceptive wavelength frequencies, electromagnetic frequencies from 5G towers that they disguise as cell phone towers, but really are bioweapons, all right? I told you that copper provides RF shielding, all right? And it also increases your red blood cell count and amplifies the size of your morphogenetic field. These can be placed on your wrists or ankles because they're adjustable and they're composed of copper and magnets, all right? Which means that if you wrap them around your ankles, they're phenomenal for grounding. They're gonna actually disperse more electromagnetic energy from the earth to actually then flow through your chakra network, all right? So I highly recommend grabbing yourself the copper bracelets. They're available on Holistic Remedies, link in bio. Soon, everything will be exposed that they've been hiding from us on this planet. They know that the great solar flash is going to rekindle our 12-strand genetic template and upgrade us substantially, all right? But this all depends on how we take care of ourselves. I told you to purge all of the toxic metals and parasites out of your body, begin fasting, grounding, meditating, and sun gazing, and refrain from the distractions. For all high-quality herbs and metaphysical products for spiritual elevation, click the link in my bio and visit Holistic Remedies, your extension to Ascension.
Wait, so New York is trying to shut down the city and turn off lights at 11 p.m. statewide? You heard what I just said? They're proposing a bill in New York that will shut down most outdoor lighting from 11 p.m. to 5 a.m. in the morning. And they're calling this the Dark Skies Act. And you already know how New York nightlife is right now. Just imagine New York with no light. It's going to be a lot of unwanted action if they get the chance to pass this bill. Mind you, they're trying to push it out there like they're trying to pass this bill because of light pollution. Since when have we had a problem with light pollution? Or does it have something to do with this war and that power grid that they planned on doing something to? Because the United States is over there doing something that they ain't supposed to be doing. Mind you, New York might just be the pilot city. They might just try and do this shit everywhere. But let me ask you a simple question. What happens when a city gets darker? People move different. Businesses move different. Everything slows down. That's not lighting. That's behavior. Because when you control environment, you control patterns. You control when people go out. You control how long they stay out. Think about this. New York ain't just a random place. New York is one of the busiest, most active cities in the world. And you talking about shutting the lights off at 11 p.m.? And that goes back to what I said. This might just be a pilot program for everybody else in the United States. Because if they can make it normal here, they can make it normal anywhere. Be honest. Do you think this shit is serious? Jump in them comments, man. I'm out.
When they launch this fake alien invasion, everybody gonna swear it's real. You know why? Because people don't know that the sky is CGI technology. I've been telling y'all this. That's not your real sky. See the sky behind me? That same sky up there. That motherfucker is not real. Alright? It's not real. I've been telling y'all that for a reason, because it's being controlled. It's 5 layers to it. It's CGI technology. They showed you this shit in that movie Kong when he threw the motherfucking spear at the motherfucking sun, nigga. Right? They showed it right to you. But before they showed it to you in Kong, for those of you who've been listening to me at university, y'all know from day one I've been telling y'all this. So if people not know that CGI technology, alright, once they get the change in the frequency of the sky, and they get the altering the layers of the sky to make it look like it's a war going on right there that's not, alright? They make it seem like it's these huge spaceships that's in the sky that's not. And then they're gonna actually use actual spaceships that they do have from other extraterrestrial species, like these insectoids and these greys and these other ones that they got, you know, they're in cahoots with.
In our obsession with antagonisms of the moment, we often forget how much unites all the members of humanity. Perhaps we need some outside universal threat to make us recognize this common bound. I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
They gonna make this shit look real, y'all. Listen, this gonna be the biggest movie. Listen, this gonna be the biggest movie they never put out, nigga. This gonna be the biggest movie they ever put out. I'm saying movie for a reason, because shit ain't real, but it's gonna look real. Listen, you ain't better tell people that we ain't under a UFO invasion. I'm telling y'all in advance. Listen, man, holographic imagery is real, man. You gonna see motherfucking aliens running down the street, all that. Be prepared for it. I told you here first.
Guys, check it out. So, I have found that when I do super long exposures on any bright, really, really bright star or planet, it reveals this grid pattern. So I think what's happening is this scope is so powerful, and it's got such a fast focal ratio that when I do these long exposures on these really bright stars, it reveals some sort of a grid pattern. I know you guys have saw Hunger Games, and when she shot the arrow and hit the dome, it revealed a similar pattern. Same thing in the movie King Kong. Guys, they put the truth in plain sight, knowing that most people will never see it. Look at this grid. grid-like pattern.
So I had to hop on this trend when I saw people adjusting the settings in their cameras and they started seeing all these crazy things in the sky. I had to cut out the first half of this video because it was way too long, but you guys, this is crazy. What is actually going on? I keep zooming in and out because I'm just in total shock and disbelief. And then I'm looking at this tree and I'm like, okay, so the tree doesn't have it. It's like real things don't have it. But it's all over the sky. I don't know why I'm whispering. This is so crazy. And then at the end, there's like this giant T in the sky. What the fuck?
Another one.
We sacrificed 168 beautiful, innocent school kids. The best kids. Tremendous sacrifice. Nobody does sacrifice like we do. We did it for you, sir. Believe me, Val, it's huge.
I want
I mean, that's crazy because that's kind of what I was saying in the last video I did. And if you haven't yet, my name is Static G. Follow me for more.
Listen to this. A new global lockdown is coming and it's getting serious. This time it's all about energy. Countries are rationing gas. Some are putting limits on how much fuel you can buy. Others are even grounding flights. Slovenia has already become the first country in Europe to implement fuel rationing. South Korea is doing the same thing. They're putting QR codes at the gas pump that limits how much gas each citizen can buy. The Philippines is trying to ground all flights because they don't have any fuel. American Airlines has cut flights by 5%. Governments around the world are trying to push work-at-home mandates to save fuel. Even the International Energy Agency is trying to restrict non-essential travel. Now, does this sound familiar? In 2020, we were told that lockdowns would only last a few weeks. It lasted years. Now, instead of a health crisis, we could be entering a period of peak energy, and that could be just as dangerous as a virus. This is bigger than the COVID lockdown. This is a system shift. Follow me if you want to understand where all of this is going.
This is an emergency video. It's not what he says, it's why he's saying it. I'm not trying to offend anybody, but it's very important that everybody's aware what's happening and what's going to happen. So Vance comes out, as you've probably seen, and says that aliens are demons and they're doing nefarious things. Look, this is definitely a partial truth, but he's not telling you for the reason you think. Yeah, aliens as we know them are spiritual wickedness in high places of all different forms. Fallen angels, demons in flesh suits created by, I don't know, somebody.
I think they're aliens. I think they're demons anyway, but that's a longer discussion.
Do you know what Phil Schneider said before he passed away? Someone who supposedly knew all these things and had high connections in these places, and him himself was a high connection in this place? He said the entire world was being orchestrated from a bunch of grays above the earth, like in a spiritual dimension. And then, shortly after, something happened to him, and they tried to claim he did to himself. But the family knew better. Now you know that all musicians worship Aleister Crowley. Aleister Crowley summoned Lamb. He looks just like a gray. They opened portals in the desert, let all these demonic things into our realm, then passed away and couldn't close it. Jack Parsons did. You can Google everything I'm saying to you right now. Like I told you on the play button, I also posted on these platforms. There is a great human coming. But this is their plan, this is in their agenda. They are going to say that the Greys are evil, but the tall Nordic whites are the good guys. And the good guys, the white ones, are going to help us take out the gray ones. And look, this is just quick and to the point. There's a whole lot more to the story. Like the destruction of all world religions to make us think that our creators are somehow these Nordic white aliens. Also that Jesus is one of them as well. This is no joke, nor is it speculation. This is what's going to happen. Let every man be a liar and let God be true. People are going to be deceived big time. Spread the word.
Breaking news last night, a massive blackout happened across Orange County and Southern California. Over 44,000 homes and businesses were without power, and 100,000 people were affected. Now, the cause is officially unknown, but don't you find it interesting? Nebraska's on fire, eggplants are on fire, fuel crisis looming, blackouts, And Iran is posting all kinds of crazy stuff on their social media, which is kind of wild to think of. Like, really? Remember when ISIS had like a Twitter account and it was not banned, but then they banned like other people's accounts? Anyway, is this like a warm-up? We all saw Leave the World Behind. I didn't see it, actually. Not all of us saw it, but we know what it was about. And we know that Hollywood likes to show us things before it happens in real life. So I have a hard time thinking this was like a coincidence. And some of the videos coming out of Iran are talking about or depicting China, Russia, and Iranian hackers like hacking the system and turning stuff down. Now, we did hear Klaus Schwab say, a comprehensive cyber attack would be really bad. And it's kind of like, yeah, dude, why would you say that? I mean, that's like saying the sky is blue. Yes, it would be bad if there was a cyber attack. Thank you. Now, look, I don't have all the answers to this shocking stuff that's coming around the corner, but I do know that this is a moment in time where it is of utmost importance to be of sound mind and sound body with all the psyops and crazy stuff coming around the corner. And right now, Chalk is giving away free $100 bags of the organic heirloom cacao from Bolivia, the chocolate powder, which is super detoxifying and delicious. Plus, if you combine that with the hot water purified Shilajit, you're getting some of the most potent adaptogens in the natural world. Comment free below and check your DMs for details.
Do you still think these giant craters are caused by asteroids? Aw, that's sweet. Well, if you don't want that fantasy ruined for you, I wouldn't keep watching. Let's start by looking how many of these craters have been found. And the Google machine says 190, but I've seen up to 195, which is awfully close to the number 200. 200 that just happens to be the exact same number of the fallen angels or watchers that were banished down to earth for committing sins with human women. And then what if I also told you there's a pyramid in the middle of a crazy city where at the very top of it was a chamber where they had 200 perfectly aligned, beautiful seats. 200 exactly. And then I told you that the town name that pyramid's in just happens to be an anagram of the word Satan. Also has a light in it that looks very, very familiar. So familiar that I knew I had seen it somewhere before. We know what that is. That's the Olympic torch. And if you've seen my Chicago or New York videos, you know who that really is, holding that torch. The head of the fallen angels, Lucifer, the light bearer. The light bearer who not only puts his light in plain sight, but puts his home at the head of a phoenix. And we just know how Hollywood loves to tell us the truth right in their movies.
We were not stone then, but light. It was not our place to interfere. Yet we chose to try and help mankind. And when we disobeyed the Creator, He punished us. We were encrusted by your world. Rock and mud shackled our fiery glow.
Maybe, just maybe, there are some fallen angels here, and they're trying to deceive us to get revenge on God, trying to make us think there is no God, and that we just came on an accident, random Big Bang, and that we evolved from monkeys, and that we live on just one of infinite spinning balls. But I know the truth. I know these, they're not even possible the way they tell us, because I've researched. And if you still think these are caused from asteroids from outer space, then my friend, you have a lot of research to do. My hope for you is that one day you get fire up your butt so bad that you will stop at nothing.
So JD Vance just went on record and said, I don't think they're aliens. I think they're demons. You heard what I just said? JD Vance was being interviewed on a podcast and got hit with the alien question. And JD Vance said he don't believe that they're aliens. He believe that they're demons. I need you to let that sink in. But you don't believe me, right? Look at this shit.
So you haven't been to Area 51 yet? Not yet. We saw aliens.gov. We saw aliens.gov. I don't think they're aliens. I think they're demons anyway.
You heard him?
That's a longer discussion. Well, I can't let you go without it.
Now, this ain't a regular person. This ain't a conspiracy theorist. This is a man with top-level clearance. This man has access to all types of classified information, and he's looking at UFOs and calling them something spiritual. Mind you, he didn't say it as a joke. He said there are things out there that we can't explain, and that people are too quick to label them as aliens, instead of what religion has been warned us about for thousands of years. Listen to the rest of this.
Well, look, I think that celestial beings who fly around, who do weird things to people, I think that the desire to describe everything celestial, everything is otherworldly, to describe it as aliens, I mean, every great world religion, including Christianity, the one that I believe in, has understood that there are weird things out there. And there are things that are very difficult to explain.
Y'all gotta remember that for decades the government said that UFOs weren't real. Now suddenly, they confirm sightings, real footage, admit to objects they can't explain, and at the same time, you have high-level officials saying, yeah, they might not be extraterrestrial. Yeah, okay. Pay attention.
You see, I've been proving that they faked their deaths for 2.5 years now, and when I first started, it all made sense chronologically. Jimi Hendrix became Morgan Freeman, that made sense. Bob Marley became Nelson Mandela. Chronologically, that makes sense. Jim Morrison became Rush Limbaugh, again, that makes sense. But then I came across something that I couldn't make sense of. Not in the way that they were just normal people faking their deaths and then taking on new roles. Something more was going on. It was this one right here, when I matched up Dale Earnhardt, who has the exact same butt chin in the exact same spot as Morgan Wallen. Do you know how he died? He hit a wall. And it's not just that they look so similar and share the same mustache and the same butt chin and the exact same gouge right under their eye. I wonder if that happened while he hit that wall. You see, this woke me up to something more is going on than just faking a death and becoming a new role. It peeled back another layer of the onion for me, and then next was Aleister Crowley and Joe Rogan, whose age gap would be monumental for them to just be the same person switching into a new role. And hey, they both have the exact nose and the exact mark right there, and although it's a little bit better covered up, it's there. Then it was figuring out that Wernher von Braun, the director of NASA during all the moon missions, who wrote a book about a man colonizing Mars, and his name just happened to be Elon, took back another layer for me. And at first I thought maybe it was med beds and healing frequencies and technology. Then maybe I thought it was a Brom or the gold juice. But I was already a believer in the Bible. I already know there was a firmament and dragons existed and giants existed. And well, I talked about fallen angels a lot already, just more in the metaphysical realm. But they always tell us. They always tell us. Funny how those capes kind of look like wings. And funny how his name is Elvis. And El on. You know, like Ange, El, and how El is Elohim, and El is in so many of the names of angels, Michael, Gabriel, Raphael, Uriel, Jophiel. You get the picture. And what was that one again? Mike El. Kind of reminds me of the most decorated athlete of all time, Mike L. And what was it I said that they always tell us? Kind of looks like an upside down one is falling. And just like the Bible says, beware entertaining strangers, because in doing so, you might entertain angels without knowing, because they're shapeshifters. They can change their appearance. And just like a color-changing chameleon or a shape-shifting octopus, you can't shape-shift damaged tissue. So it remains in the exact same place for me to go and find. Kind of makes me wonder if they made this song about me. Scar Tissue by the Red Hot Chili Peppers. Scar tissue that I wish you saw. sarcastic Mr. Know-It-All. Not that sarcastic, am I? Of course, all this is for entertainment purposes. I don't think they're a bunch of fallen angels running around in Earth with us. Entertainment only.
Oh, January is not the real New Year's. This month shall be unto you the beginning of months. It shall be the first month of the year to you. The month that it's talking about is the month of Abib. And how do we know that? Because in another chapter it says, observe the month of Abib and keep the Passover unto the Lord thy God. For in the month of Abib, the Lord thy God brought thee forth out of Egypt by night. And even when you Google it, it'll tell you that the month of Abib is in the month of March or April. So it's in the springtime, which is the rebirth time. Everything dies in the winter time and then everything starts to grow back in the springtime.
March the 21st, the equinox, that's a very holy day. The blossom begins at spring. Aries, the sign of the lamb. The wool of the sheep is the blossom, the white blossoms you see on the trees. It starts the season.
In case you're new here, there are actually 13 months in a year, with each month consisting of 28 days. The calendar we use today has, for some reason, been altered to create these uneven months, and has completely thrown us out of rhythm. April 1st, or April Fool's, is actually symbolic to us, being fooled into thinking that January 1st is really the new year. We are connected to nature in more ways than you can believe, and when we follow nature, it shows us that the real new year is in spring. What's significant about spring? Well, it's when the earth comes alive again. The flowers, the trees, and even the grass begin to blossom and grow back. It's a sign of a reset.
What if I told you we're in the real new year right now? That fresh start energy you're feeling, that's no coincidence. Anytime from now to April 1st, if you're in the Northern Hemisphere, you can say Happy New Year, unless you want to be an April Fool, that is. See, you've been misled into celebrating New Year at the worst possible time. Think about it. January 1st, the dead of winter. It's freezing, everything is dark, nature is asleep, and you barely feel like getting out of bed, let alone starting anything new. And yet that's when they tell you to set resolutions, chase your dreams, and start fresh. Meanwhile, nature is celebrating the real new year as we speak. January 1st was never about fresh starts. At best, it's just an arbitrary date picked by the oligarchs to control how society perceives time. So right now, as nature wakes up, so do you. If you feel the urge to refresh your life, that's not just in your head, that's reality syncing up with you. So go ahead, say Happy New Year, or by the time it's April, you know what happens.
When the sun enters Aries, this is when nature springs back to life, symbolizing the start of a new life. The Passover is celebrated by the Jews and they eat lamb, because this is when the sun has now passed over the winter and hit Aries, the lamb. Christians celebrate Easter, which is the resurrection of Jesus. Jesus is the sun, hence why he has 12 disciples for the 12 zodiac signs. 4 gospels for spring, summer, fall and winter. Jesus is known as the light of the world, the Son of God. They want us out of rhythm with nature. This is why they changed the new year to be in Capricorn when everything is dead.